everyone, this is Heat King here, bringing you another video on the Resident Evil retrospect. Again, we only have a few more days to go before Resident Evil 7 finally comes out. So yeah, today's topic will be on loose ends, story loose ends basically, or other story elements and stuff that the series still hasn't dived into yet, or hasn't closed off and that, etc, or resolved basically. So let's start. Let's talk about the characters that we haven't seen and what has happened to them. So first of all, Billy Cone from Resident Evil 0. We don't know if he's dead or whether he's alive. We haven't seen him in years, and I think it's about damn time that Capcom makes up its mind about bringing him back. There's also Carlos Olivero from Resident Evil 3 and Nemesis. We don't know what happened to him. Also Nikolai Ginnerworth from Resident Evil 3 and Nemesis. We don't know what the canon solution for him was at the end of the game. We don't know whether Jill fights him and kills him in the helicopter, or whether he escapes with the helicopter from Raccoon City before its destruction. So we still haven't gotten a confirmation which of those two scenarios played out. Those are three characters. We still don't know what's going on with them. It would be very interesting if we do get Revelations 3, that hopefully maybe it has Carlos and Billy in it, and maybe Rebecca as the main character. That's another character we don't know what's happened to. I mean, we did get the Resident Evil stage play that had Rebecca Chambers in it, and we are getting a official animated return in the third CGI movie with Resident Evil Vendetta. So yeah, Rebecca is technically coming back into the canon storyline of Resident Evil. Thank God, after all that time. But it would be nice to play her again, just maybe have her reunite with Billy and that. So that would be a decent storyline to do. Other loose ends, Ada and her organization. To this day, we still don't know who Ada works for, what her organization's goal is. We just don't know. There's a lot of rumors floating about that Ada works for a Chinese organization. There's nothing. Honestly, I've never seen anything out there to suggest if that is the case. And I know there's like a few people, especially one person who is very big and hectic with the Resident Evil mythology, but they've never really provided any proof to suggest that's the case. Me personally, I always presumed Ada was actually a secret government agent. I mean, the developers from Resident Evil 2, they always said that Ada was designed after the character of Nikita from the Nikita series. I've never watched it, but I'm pretty sure that character is a US government agent, so maybe that was the case with Ada, that the agency organization she worked for was part of the American government, and we know she worked for the family, which is part of the US government, like the Illuminati of the Resident Evil series. So maybe that's the case. I don't know. Speaking of the family, yeah, the family introduced in Resident Evil 6. We don't know what the hell's going on with them. Anyone who's read the extended files for Resident Evil 6 that you can find on Capcom's, I think, Resident Evil site online mainly, because that's the only way you can read those extended files. Why they didn't put that into the actual game, I don't know, but yeah, they do state that they elected a new member after Simmons died, and yeah, they're still doing their little schemes and shit, so we don't know what's going on with them. The BSA are looking for Jake to bring him in, so obviously Jake's doing his own thing, helping people and that, I mean, a hero across the world, so that's, they'd have to resolve that, I guess. I mean, especially when you've got Alex Westcott in the canon games now. Speaking of Alex Westcott, she succeeded with her experiment to transfer her mind into the body of Natalia. So Alex Westcott, technically speaking, is alive, at least consciously, inside the body of a little girl, who's not really a little girl now, because this takes place in 2017 now, about 3 years. So she would be, I imagine she was around 10 during the events of Revelations 2, and then you had the 2-year time skip, so she would have been, I think, 12 during the events of 6, and this is about 3-4 years after, so she would be like 15, 16 now. I'd say give it another 4 or 5 more years, and then Capcom will properly think about bringing her character back, because I think that's what they like to do. They like to go real time with the characters and wait for them to grow up, which also means that yeah, Chris, Jill, Leon and Claire, they're gonna be reaching the point when they're gonna be too old for these characters to be playable anymore, because like, yeah, you can't throw these characters into these kind of situations anymore without one of them biting the dust. So the idea of getting new characters, getting new blood does make sense. So yeah, hopefully they do start introducing us to new characters that we can play as, and that can become the new mascots of the series. Jill Valentine, we have no idea what's going on with her. We did get an email from her to Barry in Revelations 2 that she was still recovering, and Chris was helping her out. So obviously Chris and Jill are still together and close in some way. You know, Capcom is always very subtle with the romance in Resident Evil, with the exception, I think, of Ada and Leon. I think that 6 pretty much just went out the window in terms of confirming 100% that, yeah, Leon and Ada are in love in a way, in their own crazy way. So yeah, there's that. But Leon and Chris and Jill, it's there. It is hinted at, but they're not confirming 100%. Which, to be honest, I don't mind at all. I hate when like a romance is sort of like the main focus point all the time. So I just like the idea that, yeah, you as a fan know that they're a couple, but like they don't have to confirm it outright. So yeah, I don't mind that. But yeah, it would be nice to have Jill back, because she hasn't been in a main game chronologically since 5, and she was hardly in that. And Revelations 1 really didn't do a good job of developing a character than it did. So yeah, it would be nice to bring her back, maybe with PTSD, maybe even bring Chris back with his PTSD and have Chris help her through the problems, like guiding her. That would be a good suggestion. Umbrella Corps, wow. Umbrella Corps does set a lot of things up, actually. There's a lot of stuff in that game that sets a lot of things up for the future of the series. It tells us that there are multiple organizations besides Xingya who own the Umbrella Corps unit, and then there's other, and I think there's like 10 other corporations that are competing to be like the new Umbrella now. And that for example, the European country, the Spanish country that Leon went to in Resident Evil 4, you know, that whole place has the Plagas coming back in there, like that stuff. The parasites never got wiped out, and the villagers returned, or what remained of the villagers. The area was sealed off, but they still went back. They got infected, so that area is still like a biohazarding area. Kijiju is technically a bio. That place never got cured apparently. Like corporations like Shinya have taken over those areas and are conducting experiments. I think the ruins of Raccoon City might be used in that game. I'm not too sure. Albert Wesker may or may not be back. We still don't have 100% confirmation on this. Capcom are probably maybe playing around with the idea of whether to decide to bring him back or not. Still, it's a weird Easter egg to throw into that game unless you're not planning to do it. So, and yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of loose ends, but mostly it's really character loose ends that they could easily wrap up with a game or two. Like I'm fingers crossed that when Revelations 3, if it gets announced, if they are making that, does come out, they do maybe do like this format with it. Like, I like what they've been doing with the last 2 games. Like Resident Evil Revelations 1 had this whole blue theme, so it was like water based on a ship, and yeah, it had Jill as the main character, and then they went with this like red theme for Revelations 2, and that pretty much was like a reference to Claire and Barry, who are like the red shirts, and that theme was like blood, red, gore, and that, so, or fear basically. Personally, it would make sense for the next game to be like a green theme. So I say, bring Rebecca back and bring Carlos and have the game set in South America, and then maybe go to Africa and have Billy appear in that, because Billy had an obvious connection to Africa that we never got to see play out. You know, I was kind of hoping he would show up in Resident Evil 5, but that never happened. So that could be a nice way of maybe doing that, and have the virus be a plant-based infection. I mean, that would be nice. Again, going with the color theme of green here. That's just my idea though. That's just my idea for what they should do. But yeah, that would be a cool way to do it. You know, you could bring those characters who haven't been in the game for years back. You could have Nikolai as one of the main villains, and you could have this other character, I think, ignore the police noise out there. The character of, I think they're called Christina Henry or something. It's a character, I think, that's mentioned in Dark Side Chronicles during the Resident Evil 2 scenario in the files. And this is the character, and I think this character was also mentioned in the archives early on, like years ago in the series, but this character is pretty much responsible for sending Hank's team in to recover the G-Virus and resulting in the entire disaster of Raccoon City. So that character, this person, this ex-Umbrella Boy, like, it doesn't seem like they were ever brought to justice, so it would be a nice kind of plot, maybe, to have one of the Resident Evil plots be about bringing this character to justice, like finding this character and finding out that this is the person that was responsible for all of this shit that happened in Raccoon City, and to bring them to justice in that. So that would be an interesting plot to do, like rolling around. I'm crossing my fingers that, you know, Revelations 3 does something like this, but you never know. I mean, Revelations 2 like was unexpected in terms of what it did, bringing Barry and Claire back and doing that whole thing with Alex Westcott. So that's something that the fans did want for a while, and they did it. They pulled it off. So hopefully they can pull it off with Revelations 3 if it ever gets announced and comes out. Any other loose ends? Hank may or may not be the character known as the Grim Reaper in Umbrella Corps, and therefore is working with Shinya and working possibly with Wesker. So that's another loose end there. But yeah, obviously it's not really a lot. Mostly I just want to know who Ada is working for and what her organization's goal is. I think that's one of the biggest plot things that's been in Resident Evil 2 and 4 and even 6, and we still have no freaking clue or idea. So I think like Capcom needs to stop playing us with the balls and just tell us what the hell's going on with that, because like it's getting annoying now. Like it's been years and we still don't have an answer. I do kind of wish that Ada had been this mutated clone genetic thing in Resident Evil 6 and that there hadn't been any Carla. It would have been nice just to go with that route and just once and all close that plot line off, but they went with that other, they went with the whole doppelganger thing. So yeah, what are you gonna do, right? Anyway guys, as always, like and subscribe, tell me your thoughts down below, whatever, and yeah, can't wait to get Resident Evil 7, man. Only a few more days to go. As always guys, I shall see you when I shall see you. Take care and bye.